once more. Going to be WE opting actually for second pick here with that first selection.
Same bans as usual though, Nocturne, Orianna. It is now Lucian who has been promoted to first round bans here alongside the Varus and the Akali for BLG. So does Jarvan get through? I think for WE you have to kind of make that value proposition. We're going to get counter pick here as WE. What are we going to be trying to get in trade? If we give up this Jarvan, what are we getting in trade? It's going to be the Cassiopeia here. So we're going to give over Shun's one of his most played champions this split. But what are we getting in return from WE? Are we getting something from Monki and Karis?
It seems like if you're going to give that Jarvan away, you'll have a plan on how to address it. What that exactly will be, we have yet to see just yet. Things like the Poppy have been selected in games like this for Monki throughout this season. Could see that like we saw in game number 5. The answer for Team WE though, likely going to be this Corki Nami that they have played ever so often here in this season.
Corki Nami makes the most sense. We'll see it here. I would have potentially advocated for saying like, hey, is there another like matchup we want to try to grab? But they just want to make sure that they don't get this pair separated. Is this going to be Caitlyn Nico or is this going to be Caitlyn Elise? Is kind of my question, because those have been the two duos, and especially in terms of the lane, that would be the things that I am looking for. We also have seen Caitlyn Lux. That has been a little bit more hit or miss. We're going to see it here again coming in for BLG. So big question is whether or not About and Erha are going to be able to kind of match in lane. I've had a lot of criticisms for this 2v2 playing in the first couple of early games.
This Kate Elise, or this Kate Lux I should say, always high risk, high reward. It seems like finally BLG putting a little bit more agency into their bottom side, allowing for Viper and On to get a more advantageous 2v2. Karis locks in the Aurora. He has not found too much success on this champ specifically this season. He always turns to it though, so he is rather comfortable on it as we enter the second phase of this draft.
Aurora also just has a lot of good matchups. Technically, this could be a flex, but I doubt we are going to see Q pick up the Aurora. He's already played it once this year. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Almost all of the kind of relevant tanks in the meta are gone. Sion and both Ornn are now taken away. So other tanks, other tanky champions, honestly, I'm quite surprised we have not already seen Ambessa here in this draft, or is going to potentially be the up-and-coming top laner that we're going to be looking towards.
Monki focus so far. Normally you pick the Jarvan into the Trundle, but it seems like WE are still worried about that pick because it is such a high specialty for Monki specifically. And they'll target Nice Victor as well. Make sure there is no late game assurance on BLG in terms of that damage after you get towards the 30-35 minute mark like we saw in game number 2. Final ban for BLG, likely going to be back into the jungle, as it feels like Monki is going to have to be continuously targeted if BLG want to win.
He still has a bunch of champions, like technically Wukong is still up. You could also play a Mundo game here. You could play a Skarner. There is also Maokai, which has definitely risen in priority. Renekton blind for Cube. So we're giving Monki counter pick in the jungle. He needs to see all 5 champions from BLG to figure out what he wants. WE have some good poke, but I think the jungler is really what is going to tie this team together, because I'm seeing kind of some disparate parts, and BLG I just think has a more coherent draft strategy right now with this Caitlyn Lux Jarvan.
Especially with locking in a Cassante like this, allowing for just a little bit of frontline and some weak side over towards Bin. Final pickup here for BLG with the mid lane pool pinched rather heavily. The Mel would make a lot of sense just given already the long range that BLG has. You're adding to even more of that artillery with Knight locking this one in, and it's a Nidalee here for Monki on R5. Oh my goodness, we are going to try and punish this top side of the map.
Why is there an Italy in my game? Why is there an Italy in my... I mean, sure. Okay, so let's kind of talk about what this looks like. Hey, Caitlyn Lux really likes to play at range. Mel does the same, but now this is an arms race here, Grapes. This is Corki Rockets with Imperial Mandate Nami right before it gets nerfed on 2611. Then you have this Nidalee who can be throwing spears, but at the very least, she's going to be a heal bot. She's going to be a second Enchantress. So this could make a champion like Renekton really powerful. This could make About be a 1v9 machine here in this game.
Very fascinating composition, and of course you also have the Renekton Italy synergy that we saw maybe at the beginning of this decade, now beginning to rise more into priority here. If you get the push in the top side for Cube, might be able to 100-0 a Cassante, especially before he hits level 6. You'd imagine that is the focus here for WE in this early game.
Okay. I'm so excited. I'm so excited, man. Why are we getting Nidalee in the playoffs? This has been, again, one of the healthiest metas, I think. We're getting Caitlyn Lux in Game 3. We have a Nidalee in the game. We had Fizz mid earlier. Like, there is a lot of really cool stuff that's happening currently in this patch. So, I don't know. I think I really just want to kind of just immediately dive into the game. Nidalee can also cross the river very early on. So with some of these waves of priority, specifically from the solo lanes of WE, I want to see if Monki is going to be willing to cross the river and start to get in the face of Shun.
It's evened up at 1-1 at this point in the series. BLG have the advantage of just being the higher seed, and WE continue to know that they're going to continue to try and experiment here to keep their playoff hopes alive in the upper bracket. We're off and running here in game number 1. Looks like we see some early skirmishing here as Erha is already forced to burn that heal. We're going to get another look at it as we transition back into the full screen. Half HP onto the Nami at this point. Viper already has that lethal tempo procced, and Viper and On continuing to play aggressive. They're going to have a big advantage in this 2v2.
Yeah, Grapes, this is why when we try to see lanes that are about playing the first 5 to 8 minutes about as perfectly as you can, it's the reason why I don't like those odds for About and Erha. They are not the strongest laners, and yeah, we just see them get immediately punished there. So, good job from BLG, and some early vision from them to also spot where Nidalee is. Knows that the Raptors are not there, so she has to be on the top side.
Now we'll wonder if there is going to be a early back like we saw in game number 1 for Monki after completing his red side quadrant, or if you go for a play on the top side or an invade onto the blue buff, which Monki now knows has not been taken yet by Shun. The pushing power already beginning as it's about taking a very early back, just wanting to confirm that he will not die, and Shun's going to maybe try to make him pay.
Nidalee, they're going to try and contest. I mean, they have bot priority coming in from this Caitlyn Lux. You have no reason as Nidalee to try to look for this. I think he should just go and give up his lanes here.
Oh, the binding. It lands onto Monki. In comes the flag and drag as well. The healing is big, but not going to be enough just yet. Monki has to flash away, but Shun will follow all the same. Marshall Cadence secures first blood for BLG. Another binding connects by On. It's a double kill for the J4.
What are we
and Karis is
doing?
going to try to make it a trade, but he's running straight into the 1v3. He ends his life away. That's it's 3-0, maybe 4 as About dodges away from another Q from On.
Oh my god. If they get this killed, the game's over. We're going to game 4 immediately. But as it is right now, it's kind of already over here, Grapes. Like, this is not a good spot for them to be in. Monkey's going to try and chase out Viper. It's good for him to find this. If they can grab at least 1 kill, it feels better.
Oh, Erha flashes, gets the movement speed, looking for the ebb and flow. Viper flashes away in response, but he will be able to live. Maybe a small opportunity now here for WE to get themselves back in the game. Monkey can cancel this recall again, would be good, but instead he's going to have this wave crash.
You mean to tell me that he had flash the entire time as this Caitlyn and could have gotten that kill onto About? I'm disappointed.
It's a chaotic game so
yes,
far.
it is.
Viper was saving his flash for a good moment. He ends up, living because of it at the very least. And already off to a good start. You see a pickaxe compared to boots down there in the bottom lane. It's going to be very BLG favored for the long next while.
Good stuff. I mean, look, BLG get to start off with 1,500 gold. I don't know what team in the entire world in terms of professional play would not love that kind of start. And because they know that, hey, I see his bot side camps, I know what those timers are, go and invade top side, get his Raptors. And by the way, Shun has still not done any of his top side either. So those Blues, those Wolves, those Groms are still level 1, and he's just going to kind of rubber band himself back into the game here. Monkey did get spotted, but it's Nidalee. What is Nidalee going to do versus Boots, Doran's Bow, Corki? Like, we got no damage.
It's a very conditional amount of crowd control down there as well, with the bubble from Erha being the only ability to lock down members of the BLG 2v2. Krugs have been taken, and Monki maybe not just looking to get away. Light Binding connects once again, and the Nidalee down to half HP on having a very good start to this game, just harassing the hell out of WE's jungler wherever he sees him.
As much as On has been picked on this game, or this series as a whole, I respect the hell out of him for going for these things, like playing the Caitlyn Lux. He really wants to play like his kind of style, while also just doing what's right for the team comp. Seraphine in game 2, he's been having a great split, I think, and a great year overall here for BLG. But 2,000 gold lead at 5 minutes here is not really where any team wants to be, especially not for WE, who we saw the graphic before, 0-5 for Karis on this Aurora this split.
Yep, and if you combine it with the whole year, it gets even worse, I believe. 5-20 on it throughout his entire career, so maybe it's just the teams that he's on and not necessarily having a lot of results, but specifically this champion not necessarily bringing him wins.
BLG get the startup dragon with their priority, and Grapes, I'm still a bit in a tizzy because I don't see the value of a champion like Nidalee here in this game, at least from the outset. And part of where I could have seen maybe some adaptations is that this Nidalee invades very early on. Jarvan is usually not a champion that clears particularly fast, and so she can kind of be a nuisance in that way. But just because of how the lane has gone, how the first couple of minutes have gone, it's really hard for Monki to play that kind of savage style in the jungle when there's so many timers.
It might be even harder now as a fight has broken out around this first dragon. Viper and Shun are very low, and in goes Monki to try to finish him off. Viper goes down. They're going to steal this dragon away. On's at half HP.
Where's
Has to
Monki
run
going?
for the hills. The ultimate not available yet for Knight. He does not proc it. And it will be dragon secured for Team WE. A big way for them to get back into this game.
2 kills and a dragon. That's exactly what we want to see if you're a WE fan. Maybe I am a great caster curse here. That was a good job for me. I'm feeling good about the fact that I was like, I don't know how they win this, and suddenly they just get right in there. Karis had a good flank, applied pressure on the back end, about kind of putting pressure alongside onto Knight, who did not have the ability to really force anything in that play. BLG taking a lot of damage from that dragon, and so WE get to eat up a lot of that gold that they were behind. Yeah, just I'm watching Monki and About particularly. It's kind of split here from BLG.
It's an insane fight for them to want to take, but it ends up working out pretty well. About cleanses the binding and ends up getting away from a lot of that damage.
Look at this Chemtech dragon. It has put hands on BLG. Like Viper, no sums, he can't be there. He had to use his barrier, by the way. That's gone now, and he still ended up dying. Hey, you giving over those 2 kills? It's going to make it a lot more palatable to play this Nidalee, by the way, who down only about a kill's worth of gold and is starting to get to that point where she starts to clear these jungle camps quite speedily.
Going back to your point about what Monki could have maybe done better in the early game, I was kind of expecting him to go for more of a vertical jungling approach, but he ended up going for the invade, ends up finding Shun and On right on top of his blue buff. And does not end up working out for him. Top side of the map was where we were maybe expecting W to have their power, but hasn't really been the focus just yet, as the Grub's actually going to get started up by Shun.
As a Renekton, you should be trying to get these Grubs as soon as possible. It's the kind of the thing that your champion does, is get priority, especially once you have your ultimate. You just kind of get to be a demon for the rest of the game. And anytime you put a point in this ability, you are the best champion on the Rift at that time, if everything else is even. So, until WE finish first items for this bottom lane, I don't think we're going to see any more meaningful power spikes come through, or any early fight from them. So, it's up to how BLG are going to leverage this Caitlyn Lux, and whether or not they'll be able to find other timers. I mean, we're going for more invades.
Yeah, but this time About and Erha are here. See the Kate Lux on the way, and it will be a numbers advantage in a 3v2 because Monki's on the top side and actually just went back to base. Blue buff going to try to be delayed here until the Nidalee can arrive. Karis giving up his mid prio to instead try to just bail out the Nidalee, making sure that Monki does not fall further behind.
Yeah, just look at this bot lane turret. Like, they are completely ravaging this turret here. I get you protected your jungle camps, and in competitive, you can definitely do that, but I think that that's a very, very costly move. That was 200 gold given over to the Caitlyn Lux, and that's just more of the turret plates there.
Between Worlds comes forward from Karis. They're looking for a play on tonight. Monki has his spear rebutted, but still going to look for the kill. One more auto from Karis, has a 3-hit passive, and it will be the Aurora picking up a 2v1 in the mid lane.
Okay, hey, good job. We just killed Knight on a 1v2 in mid. That costed all 3 flashes from all 3 players involved there. So, pretty big. You've now eaten up some of this gold, but it's still an 800 gold lead thanks to this bot lane. Like, we need to fix this situation that is this Caitlyn Lux, and hey, that could just be a single fight. That could just be Aurora jumps in the backline, one-shots the Caitlyn. That's the gold lead, immediately gone.
And that's what the Caitlyn Lux is intended to do, get that early lead and roll with it. But About and Erha have done a nice job stabilizing. It's actually only one combined death across both the bottom laners so far, just the farm not really going their way. You already see the Hexopics completed for Viper. Shirelias for On. They have hit their spikes very quickly in this game.
Well, kind of makes up for the fact that some of these other lanes aren't going to plan, I think, for BLG. Rocket Belt's already completed here. Kind of cheeky from Karis to do that, by the way, just to get the bone plating away from his opponent. But if there's a Shirelias and a Hexoptics already for the Caitlyn, I don't think we're fighting for this dragon in 30 seconds.
Yeah, a very big bot gap in terms of the power levels of these champions right now. Thankfully for WE, they were able to claim that first Drake off of that Juan team fight, so they will not have to worry about a early soul stack once again for Bilibili Gaming. Be very surprised to see them go for a fight here, but it looks like they're still posturing around the bottom side with Karis and Monki joining as forces down towards their bottom lane.
There's a chance for them to find something. No bubble makes that hard, but they still have the tidal wave. And Cube could TP. That is something that we could see them look for if they really want to try to fight for this.
Oh, jumping forward as Karis uses the Rocket Belt and naturally will go between worlds. Shun caught out of position and will have to flash away. That is a big summoner spell off of the jungler for BLG and might give WE a little bit more confidence to work towards the dragon.
Yeah, Shun's just going to have to go back to his red. I think they want to take this final wave and then look for the dragon. Karis is still waiting in the wings. Mel's going to have to reconnect. They're going to try to find Viper.
Yeah, looking for a flank. Doesn't have the ulti, but already forces the flash with the weirding on. Tanks a bunch of damage with the shield. And in comes Knight. Shun on his way as well. Teleport still available for Cube. He's going to issue it right now to try to join the rest of Team WE. About still able to dish out a bunch of damage. He's Haste tanking here with the Gatling gun going. Valk's away with the rockets. Able to deal a lot and allow for potentially the rest of WE to finish the job. In goes the Croc. And it'll be 4 kills for WE.
And Ben doesn't even have TP. He can't match this. That is 4 kills going over to Team WE and the Dragon here. And they'll be able to even take some more plates on the bottom side. WE are absolutely competitive in this series now. 2 Dragons. I mean, you're basically going to be setting yourself up with a massive advantage. What did we say? It was 1 kill onto Viper. That's all you needed. Knight is now 0-2 on this Mel. Whether it is a lack of respect from BLG, whether it is better coordination, call it what you will, but WE are outplaying BLG in these scenarios. Great job from Karis and from Cube yet again to find this angle into the backline and onto the most important carries of BLG.
And then Cube comes in and just eviscerates these squishy members. The TP shield means that he does not even take a single point of HP. And with that TP advantage, BLG are now on the back foot. You take a look at the damage charts. Big 0 up on the top side, and that's because Ben was not able to join.
Just a good job. Good job from WE. And this is the solo lanes that we saw. Let's highlight Karis. I know we have an L3 from his play-in series. He was the pivotal member. It was Monki who gained a player of the series, but it was this guy who was essentially the make-or-break star for them in that performance to bring them to this playoffs.
And Karis is a player we were very critical of throughout WE's run in
yeah.
Group Ascend during the regular season. Him and Cube seemed like the two worst players in that group all regular season long, especially when it came to matches against these top teams like BLG, just seemingly outmatched against these type of high-level players in the solo lanes. But Karis, so far, has not been better than Knight. I think we can say that so far Knight has still been very good. But he's definitely holding his own and finding his moments to really take advantage and make things happen here in this series. Some skirmishing here in the mid lane. Nice job from About to get away from that final spark.
Here we go. We're now kind of getting into this weird area here for BLG where some of those first item spikes are not as powerful as they were. Viper's getting close to an Infinity Edge second item here. It's already a Trinity Force. Imperial Mandate is done. And so WE are starting to come into their own here in this game. And by the way, About was just at 25% HP.
Ooh, Monkey's been caught though. Gonna get hit up by the flag and drag, chunk down to 40%. Poke is big, but it's huge on the other side here for WE as well. Those rockets from About are starting to hurt.
Yeah, WE, but BLG, they have the poke and they have the damage. WE, they have the poke and they have the healing to be able to sustain and take it away from their opponents. So this is making it near impossible for BLG to get meaningful damage down in time to secure some kills. Herald going over to WE. They already have 2 grubs here. Well, what it was a terrible early start here, in my opinion, from this bottom lane has now started to flip. And I think that this Caitlyn Lex has actually not gone enough. I mean, there was only 2 plates on bottom side left.
BLG still looking to fight though. Herald already secured for Monkey. Karis goes between worlds, not able to get over just yet because of the Cataclysm, and they snipe down the Nidalee. Nicely done by both On and Knight to get a shutdown into the Mel's hands.
No Herald to be secured though. It'll just be the objective itself that goes down, but that poor eye is going to be looking around. Where's mom? Where's dad? Well, guess what? You're going to be stuck in the orphanage for now. This is a good flash coming in from About and a good force from Bin. This is likely to be at least 1 turret plate if BLG wanted. There's a pretty fat wave if they need. And all the while, Cube got himself a turret in bot lane.
So not the worst thing, but not the best for Team WE. They didn't get everything that they wanted out of that play, but they at least denied BLG from getting an objective of their own. We have this Ocean Drake spawning in about 50 seconds. WE would love to get off to an early soul stack, and an Ocean Drake on this comp works very well considering there's 2 enchanters as well for Monki and Erha to work with all that healing.
That's a lie. I was going to say I was never going to doubt you again, WE, but I'm definitely going to do that. I'm definitely going to doubt you.
Yeah, next
again,
game, I will also be doubting them.
I will. There are people in our server that are reminding us that this could have been this could be in another universe a WE 3-0, but we're not going to get into that right now. Got Dragon spawning in a few. About not having Flash worries me a little bit here, but Bin doesn't have TP, Renekton does, and neither does Knight. I wonder if BLG just decide, let's take some turrets, let's get the mid-tier one, let's get the top-tier one, get gold for ourselves, instead of trying to fight when Renekton's going to have Dominus plus his TP.
Karis, he uses the rocket belt to go forward, but he gets instantly hit up by the light binding and taken down. Viper assassinates him, and that will be the Aurora out of the picture for this fight around the Dragon. Knight initially tried to walk down and will eventually join his team. BLG just going to get this Dragon for free.
Well, that's my fault for believing in WE for just a moment there. Dragon still goes over. Cube teleports, but for what? You're not going to get anything here for this play.
Yeah.
Karis thought he had a lot more damage than maybe he had more dip on his chip than he thought, because this is just a rocket belt and an alternator. You don't do very much in terms of the damage.
He was feeling himself after that last fight, but it doesn't end up working out, and a bad TP from Cube means that they're not really able to get much out of it, and it'll be TP advantage for Bin in a couple minutes when Baron spawns.
What a back and forth game. What a back and forth series this is here between our 2 teams.
We did not expect that coming in.
Nope.
And here we are.
And that's good. That's awesome.
The most competitive series so far has been the one in the 8. And the team that BLG, the best seed, decided to choose, as was their right, for having the best regular season record out of Group Ascend. I always love it. They could have chosen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I love it when the teams choose their opponents, because I feel like it gives teams like WE a little bit of extra motivation, right? Like, they thought that you were the worst out of this group. You definitely want to try to make them pay.
sometimes it's matchup diff, but a lot of the times, like historically speaking, it is usually just the first team picks the lowest seed available, and then you keep going up and down for that one, depending on what your seeding is. So it is just surprising to see that BLG chose a fellow group Ascend team after they went 5 games with the best Nirvana team from the standings. But WE have come to play here in the playoffs. They consistently seem like they have at least something to say, something that they want to get down on the Rift. And I'm just glad that it's competitive because, like you were mentioning, a lot of us, and I think a lot of the community members, were feeling like this was going to be an email of a series. Like, okay, 3-0, we're out here in 3 hours, we're going to go to bed early, and we'll just kind of forget that this ever happened. We'll get ready for our second best of 5 tomorrow. But no, it is really delivering, and I think it's exciting to live in the moment here for WE.
Karis going forward with an ultimate of his own, ends up zipping right back out. Nice usage of the Between Worlds invulnerability, but it's not going to result in too much.
And what are the things that we're seeing from WE that are making them feel competitive? It is, hey, Monki is making a lot of great plays that are opening up spots. Cube and Karis, for some of the mistakes that we're seeing from them, they're also having some really, really big moments against BLG. And that comes off of the back of an entire regular season and even the international success that we've already seen from BLG and the dominance they've had here in the LPL, kind of in contrast to that. And that is what I think is making this super fun, and hopefully the viewers at home are not just kind of getting mad at some of our teams here.
Sometimes you gotta sit back and appreciate the fun entertainment value that you're getting from some of these games in the LPL.
Hell yeah.
We can worry about BLG after this is all over. For now, we can appreciate what WE is able to accomplish, and BLG looking to try to make an answer here as an ultimate comes through from On. Not going to find too many members. With the Dragon spawning in a minute 40, but not much to fight over other than that, so BLG just kind of fighting for fun at this point.
I like this approach from WE. Control the river entrances. Make it so that Caitlyn Lux do not get to set up. Make it so that Mel has to walk into Fog of War versus you rather than the opposite happening. And just because they have a Nami in Italy, they kind of just get to continue to do this here, Grapes. They get to freely sustain off of all of this. Cars coming in on a flank, trying to find Viper.
Yeah, already pops the ulti. Knight already chunked very, very low, but will not go down. Nice use of the Between Worlds. Karis has made very high value out of that ultimate ability in this game as he's looking for his first Aurora win of 2026.
Good job. No flash now from Knight. Shun similarly doesn't have that flash from beforehand. Should be a dragon that W will be looking for. We've seen a lot of Hextech souls. I know we were kind of looking at the last 2 games in terms of the souls, but this game, getting more ocean dragons is going to feel good, whether that is on either team. And when we're talking about 2 compositions that really kind of want to play at range and whittle away at your opponent's resources, Ocean Dragon is going to essentially nullify that. So whoever is able to get the majority of these outside of just having the soul, it actually makes the fights a lot longer than maybe they should be normally.
They've already been very chaotic, very back and forth, very poke oriented. So to see that continue to be accentuated would be a good sign for whoever is able to claim that Ocean Soul. Monki throws out the spear, it gets rebutted by Knight, but that's a big cooldown that will not be available for the time being. Bin dashing forward with a teleport shield. A flash binding from On is forcing a summoner spell in from Monki himself. He actually doesn't flash, just uses the rocket belt to get away from that one. Karis is on a big flank as the Dragon has been started up by WE.
He can just jump over this wall. They should have seen that there's a blast code. Did they see that it was Aurora who went over? No eyes on Karis quite yet. I love this vision toggle from our observers. Cube is inside the pit. What can Viper? Erha? Does he have, oh, he has ultimate. He could look for something here.
They're playing the slow burn. Our team WE waiting for BLG to engage on to them. Q3 misses from Bin. Dragon now at 3,000. On throws out a little bit of extra poke. Karis on the flank has been marked by Knight. 4v4 around
Oh
the
my
bottom
God,
side, and
Bin!
Bin is found, and Tofo strikes onto about. Combined with the ulti from On, it will be the 80 carry for WE out of the picture. Cube has a steric shield pop. The all-out from Bin will seal his fate, as it will be the Dragon already secured for Team WE, but the fight potentially lost. In goes Karis, goes between worlds. It's now a 3v3 as Bin's looking to continue to dive forward. This time onto Erha. The tier 1 turret going to provide a lot of security, but Bin is a very tanky Cassante and will be able to tank things up for a little bit longer. BLG end up getting 2 crucial members, but it is WE claiming soul point.
And finally, the gold swings back into BLG's favor, but that Dragon Soul point secured here for Team WE. Really, really important. We haven't talked about it quite yet and kind of the impact that it'll have, but Nidalee with Lichbane and her passive, the trap, or the kind of the markings that she puts, that is going to make it almost impossible to smite steal versus this champion. This engage from Bin, man. Finds the flash, gets the push, puts him into the arms of his team, and while the rest of WE, Cube trying to get into the backline and distract, it is such a clutch fight to open up a window for BLG to find something here in this game.
Monki just one-shot Shun. I don't think the Jarvan was expecting that. Ends up equalizing the kills at the very least, making sure that WE do not fall too far behind, but it is a 2k lead, still in favor of BLG. You think about Bin in this game, on this champion, the Cassante, the weak side in general for this player a year ago, definitely not the strong suit for Bin. As Monki gets taken down very low. You might remember, Split 1 playoffs, Bin on the Cassante had like a completely int play against top esports that ended up losing them the series and eliminating them from the playoff bracket very early on. He's learned a lot since then, is what it seems. Bin has had an excellent game on the Cassante here today.
I love it. It's also been just a different look for this player, right? We've seen a ton of M-Bessa, a lot of Rumble, looking at his most played, a lot of Gnar especially here, a lot of Jace as well, but Sion into the Cassante, a little bit more well-rounded, and that's kind of that's an expectation that I wanted to see from BLG as a whole as we've gotten in. I feel like the player who has done the least amount of evolving in terms of his play has been Bin so far. So to see him kind of start to reach out, it's not super uncommon to see them, especially in these best of fives, but early on, that's called priority. That's, hey, we're putting a certain amount of draft resources into trying to get these champions early.
Yeah, and it's the next step for a player that is the youngest player on BLG as well. Got to start 6 years ago back on Suning, made it all the way to the World Finals as that carry one trick, right? He was playing Fioras, getting pentakills, but it's this next evolution in his game, being able to take the Orns, the Sions, the Cassantes, and do work with them that is going to turn Bin into a really good top laner into one of the best that we have ever seen in competitive League of Legends.
Well, he's already had the title of one of the best. This is a Cube teleport.
Oh man, yeah. TP coming in immediately for Cube. He gets collapsed upon by 3 members of BLG. They pop hysterics, but it looks like Bin is isolated on the other side. But the Cassante is just a little bit more powerful at this point. A questionable TP once again coming out from Bin's opponent means that it's a 4v5 on the map for the next 30 seconds here for BLG.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. And guess what? That's a minute and a half before the Dragon. That's extremely expensive. Monki gets his Raptor camp, but they lose control of mid.
Oh, and now Shun's going back in again.
Oh,
Lands the
no.
flag and drag onto Monki. He has to dash away, and that is for the signal for the Cataclysm to go forward.
Oh,
The jungler is down, and Bin is able to pick up the kill. Karis goes between worlds and ends up running right into the BLG team. About gets chunked down to 40%. They don't need to continue the chase as BLG can head straight over to the Baron with Monki out of the picture.
They still have healing, though. They still have all of this available to themselves. Cube is going to move in for 5 seconds, and depending on how long BLG take on this, they're going to be late to Dragon in 50 seconds, so they need to finish this very, very fast. It's going to be Caitlyn, it's going to be Shun, and it's going to be this Cassante.
Big light
right
binding.
now, right here.
On is very low on mana, but it should still be the Baron being secured. Cube, of course, did not have his teleport because he used it to die about a minute ago. So it'll be BLG wearing purple, but WE is going to have control of the mid lane with their Soul Dragon spawning in 30.
They're going to reset here. They're going to be second out onto the play. BLG are coming out onto the map faster. They've got Baron, they've got Home Guards, and like you mentioned, the teleport discrepancy there. They might try to play through this bottom side. So BLG entering from the top side river. They need to clear all of these wards. That control ward that's actually sitting did see a lot of the BLG members jump into the river here. So An important fight. This is sole point here for WE. We already talked about how easy it is for Lich Bane Nidalee to steal this objective. And now we're getting Aurora with yet another flank.
Well, you can't steal it if you die early, though, and that's what Bin is trying to prevent. Flag and Drag already has found out Karis on the flank. The Aurora has to use a W to escape defensively. Ace in the hole goes on to Cube instead, and all out has come through from Bin. Has a lot of damage with the Pathfinder, but so does Monki, and so does Team WE. Oh! Bin has to flash away, but he will end up surviving. Cataclysm goes forward. Shun still not going to go down to the final spark. Has taken the members low, and it'll be BLG here to finish the job. A double kill for Viper. Knight picks up another. It's a triple kill in for the Caitlyn and a 5-0 ace for BLG.
And they're just going to teleport mid. They've got Baron still on their side. They don't care about the Dragon right now. We'll let the lanes figure out the rest of the map as Shun solos this objective. And that is going to be the fight. That is the last nail in the coffin here for Team WE.
Might not be the game just yet here, Alk. It will just be the Dragon Soul being denied. With death timers nearing 20 seconds at this point, nobody on BLG except for Knight is here pushing, so it's going to be a little bit more, but we take a look at this fight that broke the game open for Bilibili.
I thought this was a split fight. I think that Shun going in onto Karis is a little questionable, but the solo lanes from Team WE are just making mistakes consistently here, and another split fight where Monki, About, and Erha are on a completely different page from the rest of their team, while BLG are so strong. Shun on this Jarvan feels like he is untouchable in so many of these fights, and the range from this Mel, from this Caitlyn, are now untenable for Team WE. None of this is saying that we had highlighted earlier is mattering when you are getting completely destroyed.
Oh, and Monki's dead again.
Sailor
tried to check a little bit too closely into his own jungle and ends up dying once again. It was a great start for Monki, but now he is 2-5 and not in a good position to carry this game. BLG have turned their gold lead and popped it up to 9,000 at the 31-minute mark. And this could be the final push. Baron buff available for the next 15 seconds, but it's still a 4v5.
I thought that headshot was going to do a lot more damage than it kind of did. I got you baited. I got you baited by the headshot. But still got Baron for another second here. It's the last moment before it falls. They'll just, if they can't end on this wave, they're just going to go top lane, and that gold lead is going to expound even more here.
Finding, connects on to Cube, who has to pop the dominance. Viper gets one-shot by Karis from downtown, and WE will stay alive in this game. Bin has to dash away. How did Karis find that pick? Cube looking for even more, goes for a stun, but in goes Knight, and he one-shots his opposing AD carry all the same, says anything Karis can do, he can do better. Lands the root onto Cube, and Shun's back in with a flag and drag. Monki coming back from the Death Realm will make things an even trade. Bubble lands onto Shun, and him and Bin are getting dangerously low. Knight, though, in the back line, still doing a ton of damage with the artillery that he provides on this Mel, but WE want to continue to push the pace. Spear does not connect, and that will be all she wrote here in the mid lane.
That saves the game for them for right now. Monki, the longer you can chase, the better this feels right now. This is a Lux with very little damage. Shirelia's first item and probably some more enchanters afterwards. Was not able to properly sneak in. Is anybody going to face check him? Might just try to go hunting for a little bit of fishy fish here. If not fish, then it's going to be chicken. Looks like we're going to be having raptors for dinner.
Good enough. Get you some protein, or maybe you get a little crocodile instead. Cube's gonna face check. Had no idea that Knight was still here. He's thank you Renekton though with that Spirit Visage, so no chance of one shot. It is just the croc in the wings. Got Baron in 130, Dragon in 2. It's still sole point for WE, but BLG feels like they have a strong hold of this game.
Yeah, Shun is really damn tanky. Like, he has Merc Treads, plus he also has the Spear Show, or not the Spear Show, what am I talking about? The Maw of Malmortius, and the Black Cleaver, and the Sundered Sky. Like, has a ton of HP. And WE's team comp, yes, I talked about the poke, but a lot of it is kind of upfront burst. You're trying to get the damage of an Imperial mandated rocket to slam, and this Karis to get 3 procs of his passive to explode an opponent. Can't get through that if you have a bunch of HP and a ton of shielding here. Great job from BLG. They're just going to take this bot lane tier 2.
Only Karis
so
here.
Many moments, Scrapes. So many moments from WE that they probably wish they could get back. Like, that teleport from Cube, what happens if that doesn't go down that way? What if Karis had not died with the one where he had the Hextech Rocket Belt on the alternator and he just randomly goes in, dies one-shots?
These small moments have made or broken this series so far. WE had a lot of them in Game 2 as well. We could very much be looking at a different series if some of these opportunities go the other way around. But that is the nature of being the underdogs. You're going to make mistakes. And so for WE, it seems like their strategy is to maximize the amount of opportunities that they can get something right.
All Fog of War. Kasante's pushing top, but has TP. This is so dangerous from WE. They have to walk S4. If you try to walk into River right now, it's like, well, there could be a Jarvan there, and then there could be a Caitlyn, and thank God there's no Mel. We just saw her in mid lane.
So we'll end on a Viper. Pops the heal already, about chunked down to 60%. Tidal Wave gonna knock up on, who gets taken very low with the drag back of the Aurora Q. Q on the flank, looking to try to take down the enemy's support, but he gets hit up by a binding of his own. Dragon spawning in 10 seconds, and Knight comes in with a teleport at level 17. Bin is 20, and we're ready for a scrap of all time here around this Soul Dragon. Viper already chunked down to half, and that's gonna be a big disadvantage for BLG.
Who can Bin try to
Over
take
the Karis.
out? On might be dead here. Karis!
He one-shots on immediately with a weirding. And so it will be a 4v5. Shun still over the wall, though, has the opportunity to deny the soul once again. Redemption from the Death Realm
Their
comes
base
through
is going
from On.
down!
That's the only thing that he can do. BLG just going to try to stall the Death Timers out. No teleports available, but they can allow the Supers to do the rest. The Dragon is down to 6k. Bin tanking up a lot of the poke that WE are trying to dish out. About is running low on mana. He will have to go forward at some point. Dragon's at 4k. Karis has his ulti up again and is looking to try to one-shot at somebody there. He goes between worlds. Bin is taken very low, and Bin goes down and out, gets the shutdown, and they're going to do it. A big cataclysm comes forward from Knight and gets a double kill right back, but it's a 3v1. Dragon and the soul to go over to WE, but the Nexus is now in danger as Viper has instead teleported into the base, or gone to the base himself. Knight going to be targeted, down to half HP. A spear connects onto him, and Monki will jump forward and pick up 1.1k. WE, they win the fight. They get the soul, but their base is in tatters.
And they save the Nexus turrets here. Great Ocean Drake. Ocean Soul might have just saved this game here for Team WE. That minion! Oh my god, 2 minions, a cannon and a caster on a wonderful day for BLG. Go into the base, take down a Nexus turret. It'll respawn in 3 minutes. I don't know if the 6,000 gold lead is enough here for BLG. An Ocean Soul is one hell of a drug to get around some of this poke damage from BLG. What an incredible find from Karis right in the middle of that fight. And Shun just never was able to get in. We saw the battle lines being drawn.
Karis might be down 2,500 gold, but he's had equal, if not greater value than Knight in some of these crucial team fights that have allowed for WE to nevertheless persist in this Game 3 that could break this series open one way or the other. Baron now being started up by WE. Knight doesn't have teleport and is in base, so it'll be a 4v5 for now, with Karis now joining the fray. Spear lands onto Bin. He's still very tanky at level 20. Not going to take too much damage. Shun still in the area as well. The front lines are still massive, but WE starting to pack a punch.
Yeah, Ocean Drake just means they can do this infinitely, ad nauseum, all day, every day, the entire game. They can throw spears, continue to chuck out phosphorus bombs and all of these big rockets. It's impossible for BLG to walk in. They need to be decisive. They need to find one pick, one person, and then move on. Go to the next play afterwards. You can see how tough it is, but they're still having a gold lead. We're starting getting to a point here where a gold lead starts to matter less and less, but for right now, it is relevant because BLG, they have item leads across their opponents. They have gold leads, but that is going to start to shrink as more and more waves for WE get soaked up.
Karis soon to have his death cap. He thought he was scary before. He will be even scarier now. That death cap, not something that Knight currently has in his inventory, opting instead for a little bit more utility with things like the Rocket Belt, the Crypt Plume, and now a Medjai's for himself, getting that movement speed. But it's still going to be WE having the power of the soul. The inhibitor has not respawned yet at the top side, but they're playing around the top side right now, so they don't care about that too much. It's at half HP, and BLG have to make a move.
It's gone! It's just gone here! Shun can't get in!
Flashes over, trying to find a steal, won't be able to get it. Is the Baron Nashor secured for Team WE? Now the question is, can they escape? They have their Baron empowered recalls, they will be able to do so, but BLG looking to try to make something else happen here with control of the mid lane.
Grapes, I think I've said this before, but stop me if I have. This series is so good. This series is great.
We've
There's
also
options where they could have ended this game, where they could have gone into the enemy base, and they may have missed their window to win this game.
It lands on a Viper, but he's able to use a 90 caliber net to escape. Mid lane tier 2 should go down with the next wave as W are still wearing purple for the next minute and change. Will time up relatively nicely with the spawning of this Elder Dragon, which will have to be BLG's way to get back into the driver's seat of this game.
If they do this, like, I feel
some
like
devil magic working here in the LPL
I know,
playoffs,
man.
dog.
Like this feels so close to game number 2, but like game number 2, there was always the argument that hey, Knight is 14-1, or Knight is 11-1, whatever. He's really far ahead. This game, Viper has 4,000 gold. He's gone for a last item Edge of Night. What is he doing? Is he going for GA? We're sitting on the Dirk. We're trying to pick what it. Okay, he ended up choosing the Edge of Night. Are we gonna secure that? If he is, okay, he's gonna have the spell shield now. But Viper has 4,000 gold. I really have not seen Viper in this game. I mean, it almost feels like he has picked up a lot of kills, but he hasn't been the driver. He has not been the closer that we have labeled him as.
He hasn't done much since that last fight about 10-15 minutes ago around the bottom side alcove. They ended up 5-0 acing. You thought the game was over, but WE did not. They were able to hold the line, take only an inhibitor, and end up being in this position. Down 4,500 gold, but still the opportunity to claim an Elder Dragon at the 41.5 minute mark. Mid lane control belonging to WE for now. Tidal Wave gets popped.
Oh.
Knight ends up rebutting it right back and pops Erha to very low and immediately assassinates him. But speaking of assassination,
oh my
that's
God.
what happens to Viper. Karis gets him and goes golden, but Shun's going to be able to knock him up and take the enemy mid laner down. In the back line though, it is Monki looking to try to assassinate on Guardian Angel. Already been popped by Shun as Cubby the Dominus is still massive on this Renekton. Vabout uses the Valk to get away from the Q3, but Bin is still on the hunt. They take down Shun on the other side, and it is a 3v2 in favor of WE. About's able to escape, and here come the rest of the cavalry. WE looking to finish it off onto Bin. He has no ult, he has no life. It's About taking the kill and a teleport into the bottom lane.
Are they going to try to end the game? On's the only one alive. When is his ultimate? He has Final Spark. Does he have enough AP to blow up this minion wave? It's one wave here and the next one after that. 20 seconds before Viper is up. I don't think that WE can end, but there's an Elder out on the map right now, and WE still have 2 grubs.
You'd imagine it's bot inhib into the Elder Dragon, but maybe WE have other ideas. They can clear this wave out very quickly with about getting a lot of wave clear down onto this cannon minion, and onto the Nexus turrets they go. Nice job by On to use the Final Spark to try to take it down the wave, but there's still a cannon in their sights. Viper has respawned, forces a binding onto Monki.
Oh my God!
The jungler for WE is down. Viper gets kill number 7 on the game as the rest of WE have to flee.
Is this another inflection point? Is this a point where we start to see BLG snap back into this game? Who knows? Maybe they have to be on this Elder. They have gone way too far into the enemy base. Knight, you gotta play with respect. You cannot walk in a fog of war. We saw About make this error.
In goes Knight again. He gets hit one shot. It's About getting the kill off the Tidal Wave from Erha, and that's going to be Shun going down as well. Bin comes with the teleport, but it's far too late as it's 2 members of BLG out of the picture once again. Cube is level 20. He dashes away, has a lot of healing for the help of Erha. Ace in the hole nearly one-shots the Nami. And BLG still have the HP advantage, but Monkey's back up in 20.
All right, let's take stock of where we are right now. BLG can really continue to kind of hammer away. They have this big bin standing in front of them. Honestly, with where Viper is in terms of his itemization and damage, you can actually just start this Elder Dragon. But Monkey's up in 5. Shun is up in 30, so looks like that is not going to be the case. They're going to get control of mid. There is inhibitors.
Tagged.
3 super minions on bottom lane wave that are going to push. Someone is going to need to answer this right now.
It'll likely be Knight once he ends up respawning, but another binding connects this time onto Cube. He pops the ulti, but will eventually go down. The all-out from Bin will seal his fate, and BLG wants to have the numbers. But it's going to be a WE starting up the Elder Dragon again. Shun is still dead, and Monki has the smite advantage. It's a 3v3. About getting targeted here. Immediately a headshot to his face, takes him to half HP. Bin going forward, still having a little bit of the all-out, and going to force Monki to jump on out.
Yes,
in goes Knight off of the TP. Shun is looking to rejoin, but the minions are going to try to chase him away from things. Dragon's at 4,000 HP. Monkey's going to try to run back in. Final Scar forces the Valk away from About. And now WE are in a very precarious position. In goes Monki. They're looking to try to target. Outshun the Elder. Should go over. Here comes Karis. Now rejoining the fight. Finds between worlds. Takes down on. Dragon at 2K. Should go over to BLG. But the rest of the fight is still going forward. And the super minions are going forward. In goes Monki looking to try to end the game as the rest of WE will try to cancel the bases. On to the Nexus they go. Monki to finish it from 10K to no way. WE have match point.
Let's go, Monki, man! Let's go! Oh my god! He just popped off in that fight. Look, I didn't respect the Nidalee at the end of the day, but Triforce on the Corki, Lichbane on the Nidalee, they destroy these structures incredibly fast. And that right there is WE getting themselves to match point.
That was the craziest game that we have covered here on LPL English this split. There has been a lot of wild stuff, but for the stakes that this game has, for Team WE to be down 10,000 gold, to come all the way back from that off of a backdoor from Monki on this Nidalee R5 pick.
Dude.
What a game, what a series this has been, and BLG are now one game away from their first loss in a playoff series in the LPL in about a year.
Imagine you're EDG right now. You're like, damn, we got 3-0'd by AL. All right, so who are we going up against in a couple days? BLG. Bro, what the hell is this? WE sends their regards. They're going to send all the Nirvana teams out of the tournament real quick. Oh my god. Just insane stuff. And we're talking about it being the small moments, right? Game 2, it's the level 1. That right there, that moment kind of dictates the game. Game 3 here, we're like, okay, some small decisions we're not like super happy. There's that teleport that I was mentioning for Cube where he like TPs into 1 million Viper traps and then just dies. And Karis does the same thing where he kind of just goes in and kind of dies. It's the choice to go for the inhibitor instead of the Elder. And then we get into that weird scenario where we're like, oh crap, maybe this is not the good idea. But they made it happen. WE made it happen. They made the magic work.
I can't believe what we are seeing right now. WE made so many mistakes that should have been game losing. But BLG were not able to capitalize. They got so close. They had the Nexus nearly exposed. They had supers in the base as a dragon was being taken. But it ended up being the reverse of that happening just a few minutes later that allows for WE to pick up their second game win against Bilibili Gaming. They have not taken 2 games in a series against BLG since 2023. That is how long ago it has been. And it looks like there's an opportunity for them to get one more.
If WE win this series, this is the biggest upset of all time in LPL history, bar none. And if someone else can find another one that's bigger, then guess what? This is number 2. So
I know we get a lot of crazy stuff in the LPL, but this is just next level. I mean, WE 1-13 in match score, 0-4 in the regular season against Bilibili. Starting off the season, 0-14. But that's what happens here in this tiered nature of the LPL. Regardless of how you do in the regular season of Ascend, you're always going to get one chance to make it into the playoffs off of a best of 5. Many of us were writing WE off of that because they were matched up against LNG. But they win that game, and they're looking pretty good in this one. They never held a 2-1 series lead against LNG. They had to come back from being down 2-1 in that one. So this is a whole different story. If you take a look at our LPL gold graph sponsored by someone, we should probably do a name for that at some point on the show.
Probably Durex.
Probably
yeah. Durex.
WE were ahead in gold at some point at the 18-minute mark, and they never were for the rest of the game. And they're the one that win.
Viper with the damage padding. Hey man, I'm coming in. I have 55k damage. Not enough. So, damn. What a crazy game. Also, WE were still down gold, by the way, and they won this game. That has happened so many times for Team WE in this year. They're down gold, and the enemy Nexus goes boom. Like, if there is a time for a coaching staff... For what?
I wonder if there's a way to, like, track number of wins when you're down in gold. Like, WE have had the most of that, because it seems like it.
Maybe. We'll have to ask maybe some stats people, and if I'm really bored, I'll go do it myself and hand track it. But dude, this is a crazy series for everybody at home. Slightly off topic here, but thank you everybody. We have now reached 100,000 followers on Twitch, which is a big milestone. Starting from last year in Demacia Cup all the way the tail end of 2024 to now. Only possible because of folks like you watching, whether you're a one-time viewer, a lurker, or long-time viewer. Being able to make this project happen is all thanks to you guys. And if you're not already tapped in on this series, if you're distracted, there's LCP playoffs happening at the same time. I know that BFX versus T1 was happening. Tell all your friends. Get into the LPL stream right now because you're about to watch history in the making.
I mean, why watch T1 play when you can watch this, right? Like this is incredible.
Yeah?
Taking a look back at some of these fights, it still seemed like BLG had the upper hand, but just with things like the Ocean Soul in the hands of Team WE, it just created so much of a gap that they were able to withstand a lot of the team fighting power that BLG had. I think On had an incredible game, on this Lux particularly, but it just was not enough to take down WE, which is such a funny thing to say if you were with us about a couple months ago.
What crazy stuff. This fight here, or like this choice to go for Nexus turrets, insane, by the way, from On. Pulls the minion wave so that the turrets they're a little bit tankier. Part of taking down structures and trying to end games is that you need a minion there to apply the debuff onto the structures. That was very smart from On to one-shot the minion wave there, because if that doesn't happen, then the game ends, and we don't even get this crazy moment. Erha walks up. Just the resume of the players on WE, by all intents and purposes, has no reason to be this close versus BLG. Let's get rid of the regular season results. Just the players alone on this Team WE have not been able to sniff anywhere near the results that we are seeing from them. And to take the #1 seed this far in the series, I think is a testament to their growth, a testament to the coaching staff that is behind them for what was an abysmal regular season into now being an incredibly competitive best-of-5 team.
It's been a great year for development here in the LPL. You see teams like WE bring on new players like Erha and About having success right now. You go down to Group Nirvana and there's players like Keshi and Haru on Thunder Talk making their way up to top 8, even taking a game earlier this weekend in the upper bracket of the playoffs. And now back here, Monki getting player of the game for Team WE. He might not be a rookie anymore. Still pretty new overall to this scene. You know, remember him back from the Edward Gaming days in 2023, 2024. But he's feeling pretty good about where his team's at right now.
Good job, Monki. Super big bounce back split. I mean, I remember halfway through the regular season, we were talking about Monki as the worst jungler in the league. And now he's taking on Shun. Now he's potentially looking on match point. It's a lot of pressure. It's a ton of pressure for Team WE to now say, hey, we got to take at least one game in the next 2 to put ourselves in the next round of playoffs. But that also means you're that much closer to making history.
Or that much closer to heartbreak, as WE still have one more game to win. BLG certainly do not want to be heading down to the lower bracket this early after an incredible